All right. Okay. Audio's good. I think we are ready to go. What's going on, everyone? And welcome to a very early live stream. I am playing the Stanley Parable again, because my last stream that I did over here kind of got messed up a little bit for the first, I don't know, hour and a half or something. So yeah, we're gonna have to go back through this again. We're gonna do this the right way, preserving this for posterity. And unfortunately, this game doesn't have a traditional save feature, so in order for me to do the new content over again, I've got to restart the game. Fortunately, all I have to do is go through a few of the regular endings to open up the new content. So we're just going to run through as quickly as I can and try to get some of that done. So we've got to set the time here. It is 9:40. AM. Okay. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. All right, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right, so we're going to jump in and we are going to do this.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
427. I keep forgetting that whenever I'm looking at the big giant wall of televisions.
427, and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to just, we're going to go through this as quickly as we can. I think we're going to go for the good ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, now by good ending, I want to say this is probably the better of the endings. So let's go ahead and do this if I can remember how it's done now. Yes, I do. Okay, so this door right here, 416, is where the new content would be when it shows up. So I have to get that to unlock.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, we're going to go on the door on the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, we're not going to admire the employee lounge. We've done this plenty.
Truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, but eager to get back to business. Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope, we're not taking that door. We are going to go for the better than average
Stanley
ending.
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Aha, but there is no her, is there?
Stanley? Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Okay.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
So there is an
Reach out to
ending
her.
where if you
If
answer
can
the
truly
phone,
place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
there's an ending if you pick up the phone. It's kind of convoluted, but ultimately Stanley dies. So we are going to do this. We are going to
As Stanley picked up
unplug the phone.
a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly.
Yep.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me double check.
You can double check all you want. We unplugged that bad boy.
It's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another.
Nope.
Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits.
Aha.
Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner?
Hey, BH Stanley, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream.
You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Ooh, the instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
My goodness. Is it 4:30?
Excellent.
Oh,
Making
you didn't
choices
give me
on a
enough
regular
time.
basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Wow.
Ah, welcome back. You
Yeah,
may have
this video is
noticed
great.
this
There's
room has
another
begun to
video
deteriorate as
that
a
you get
result of
when you
narrative
do
contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed
when you do
of
the
good
new
decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been.
Okay.
This way, please.
All right, so everything is kind of jank now because we've broken the game. So we're going to have to backtrack. This time there's a little gate here.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story.
Oh,
That story
egads,
would make
no.
no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Okay, all because I unplugged the phone rather than answered it.
Almost there.
Wait.
You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Yay! Home free. All right, so
Remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
no, we're going to enter the door on the right.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Okay. Let's try this one now. Oh, we're too late.
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Oh, now the game is shut down.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are.
Woohoo!
My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see?
Where's that
Didn't I
red
impress
light
upon you
coming
how
from?
important it was to be like Stanley. He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
All right, we go through the door on the right again.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, all right, so let's try this again. Back on the left. I think it's still going to be broken, so it's all good.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yes, here we go. We got the green office. This is it.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Can I have a burger and some large fries, please? Large fries?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver right there on the wall.
Burger! Fries!
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
And a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. And this is...
Stanley? Hello?
This is more or less probably the best ending you're going to get.
Please. I need you to make a choice.
It says the end, and of course you get credits. So, well, it sort of depends on how you look at it. A good ending would be destroying the facility, the mind control facility, and then there's this ending where you pretty much break the game and the narrator. So it's kind of up to you on whether or not you think it's the right decision or the wrong decision. Good ending versus better ending, I guess.
Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide.
Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do.
Okay, I don't know how many more endings we have to get before we unlock the new content. I think maybe just this run should be enough. So now we're going to load back to the main menu and we're going to start again. Okay, let's do this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No. The door's not open yet. Okay. Can we go back to his... No, his office is closed. His office is closed. Okay, so there is another ending that I want to... I'm trying to remember how many different endings there are that I did not do.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's try getting that other sort of good ending, just so I can say that I did it. It might want me to do that one, so let's go ahead and play it out like it wants me to.
Yet there was not a single person.
So we go through here.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
Oh, yes.
hoping he might find... Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yes, the broom closet ending. Yeah. This is sort of the, I guess you could call it player 2 ending.
No choice to make, no path to follow.
We'll do this one
Just
real
an
fast since we're
empty
here.
broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Sweet FA. Frick all. I love it.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this
The
concerning.
broom closet ending was my favorite. Druba Uba Duba? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. The names in that game are crazy.
Job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
I think the narrator of this game and
I've come to a very
GLaDOS
definite
would get
conclusion
along
about
really
what's
well.
going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Okay, so this is essentially just him acknowledging that you're an actual real person again playing the game. So yeah, it's not really a real ending. It's kind of a gag. In fact, if you play the game over and over again, which you will, and you keep going into the broom closet, eventually you will come by the broom closet to find that it's been boarded up.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
See, he acknowledged me as player 2, or second player.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. I thought there would be something with the elevator, but essentially you just go up and down. That's pretty much it on that one. So...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Wow.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Woohoo! All right. You had the urge for me to press 1987 in that keyboard? Or keypad? FNAF reference. Okay. All right. I was like, what? For the bite of 87?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and do the appropriate ending. Because I want to get to the new content.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
Employee
His own life
pirates?
in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Okay. Now there are two
But he was
endings
Broom,
here.
the heart of the operation.
There's
Controls
the
labeled with emotions, happy
explosive
or sad
ending,
or content, walking, eating,
which I've already
working,
done.
all of it monitored
And of course, I've already
commanded from
done
this
the
very
good
place.
ending in the last
As the
stream.
cold reality of his past began to sink in,
Well, I say good
Stanley
ending.
decided that this machinery
happy
would never
ending.
again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
So if you press on, you go back in there and you think that you can stop the explosion, but all you really do is just press some buttons. Either way, you still blow up. There's really no stopping it.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Of course, this is the way things are meant to happen, according to the narrator, who is manipulating the entire story. Okay. Now let's see if the door is open now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, it is new content. New content. Okay. All right. Let's do this.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Here we go.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere? Or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Let's go!
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if the... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Here we go. This is it.
All right, let's see it.
The new
The
content.
jump circle?
We get a jump circle. Finally, we get to jump. Well, we're all out of jumps.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying
That's
the
it?
new
You've got to be kidding me. You see, Stan, this is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Yes.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks, just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
All right, here we go. And we're back in Stanley's office, but we actually do have new content now. So see, that's the hallway that we would normally leave out of.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Okay, see, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. I want to explore.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
If Pennywise is in that vent, then, yeah. Ew.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
okay, so this is literally just taking me
Wow.
back around
Yes,
through the same
this
content.
room.
Okay, so this is just
What a beautiful room. But
this is just a
let's
loop.
get back
This
to
is just a
business.
loop. Okay, so we're going to begin the game again real fast. See if okay, there it is. There it is. Before I do, I want to do something real quick. So I'm going to do this right fast. Hang on 1 second here. I'm getting a little bit of lag from the game, so I need to restart it real fast. So hang on 1 second. This happened to me the last time I played. It booted up. There was just a little bit of lag. I have no idea why. Give me just 1 second. Okay. This time it said we could enter in whatever time we wanted, but I'm still going to set it for the appropriate time. So it is 10:19. Okay. Your favorite time of day, or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 10:19 a.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate? It is super accurate. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip a couple new ones up. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Okay. All right. Okay, so he wants me to go into the vent.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
I do have to agree the jump circle is definitely the singular greatest update to any game. There are some games you play that you know you need to be able to jump, but you can't.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Ooh, yeah.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
The original remake. Buy on Steam. Wow.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Oh, there's the two doors.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories. These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
Steam
Surely these
reviews.
were good as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
I love that. Unfunny. I like how it's raining now. It's like raining on his parade.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't.
I like how this person is named Noodle Shaft.
These black
That's an
marks are my
amazing
otherwise
name.
Unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Ooh, a skip button.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot.
We're going to enjoy
forward
this.
in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved?
The
for
plant
one
is
entire
dead.
year? Let me describe it for you. To begin
The clock
with,
is actually moving.
There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret.
And now the narrator is gone.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he... The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
The end is never the end. I wonder how many centuries have gone by now with every push of this button. Oh, wow. Yup. Some creepy sounds. Creepy sounds. Well, there's the world. Okay. So
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
aha! New content. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Let's do this.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Yes.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
I wonder why the cursor is showing up. Okay, there it is. I want to look at the settings real fast. Let me see. Field of view. We're going to turn that down just a hair. Off. We'll turn that off. Okay. So we got the Stanley Parable 2. Yeah, this looks like it was thrown together kind of on the fly here. Okay, the end is never the end again. All right, investor showcase.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? but the Stanley Parable 2. Now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
New content is out. New content part 2 is in. So we got old and busted. And we got new hotness. Oh yeah, I love it. That's a quote from Men in Black. Men in Black 2, I think.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
I love this. I love this. Someone wrote 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 2 arms, 2 legs, question mark. Who took the red marker? And then down there at the bottom it says, me. Nice. That's the kind of thing that you would see on a whiteboard. Straight up. What is this? The prequel to the Stanley Parable 2 is the sequel to the Stanley Parable is the prequel to the Stanley Parable 2 is... Wow. This way to the show floor. Valued investors. New content. They even brought in a bus. They even have a bus. That is so cool. That needs to be a thumbnail right there.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Okay, so we've got merch. A t-shirt that says, I saw the new content. Okay. All right. Now, I did this in the last stream. I think I did most all of the new content, but I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to run through and get my reassurance bucket last, I think. I'm going to save that for last because I want my bucket and I'm tempted to go get it, but I'm going to do that last. Okay, so first let's go do this. So we got an all new button. Exclusive to the Stanley Parable 2. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Hear your name in the game. Kind of rhymes. I like it.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work.
I am Jim.
Playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim. Staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim. Developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim.
What?
Rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim. And finally, dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim. Do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Okay, so now that we're Jim, let's go, I guess we're not Stanley?
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Okay, this is where I came in at. So let's go. Let's go over here. No, please no screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
So we get to add balloons to the game, but we can get Well Someday or Happy 12th Birthday Stepniece. Ooh. You know, let's do that one.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
Yeah, he picks the opposite one every time. Just like everyone else does. It's like, why even ask my opinion if you already know what you want to
maybe I should
do?
have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Okay, this is what? The infinite hole. Huh.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Okay. Whee!
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Well, how do I just let it keep going?
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Okay, so that was the infinite hole. Let's go here for the free, new, and easy achievement. Free achievement. Get yours right now. Pull the lever. Receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Just like every bug in Cyberpunk 2077. We promise it'll just work. Or am I thinking of a Bethesda game? I don't really know.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Collectibles. Yeah. Okay. Collect them all. Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them?
Ah, Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life. God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Wow, so innovative, but Sonic did it already. Sonic 4, I see. Okay, there's something up there. All right, I got to get up there. And then we'll come for the reassurance bucket. Let me see. Here.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Okay, so we did the button, the merch. Okay, let's go get my reassurance bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on.
It makes me think of the companion cube from Portal.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort.
Good
even in the
Lord,
face
that
of
laugh.
crushing despair must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just
Yeah.
holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Okay, so I think we've done everything here. We did the jump circle. We did the infinite hole, the collectibles. All right.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
No screenshots.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
Let's do
Here it
it.
is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Woohoo!
I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. with care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
Oh, yes.
Possibly, I suppose it could, but it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Wow. You know, looking at the two, it actually looks out of place because there's a little bit of a black offset shadow of the two that the rest of the letters don't have. So I don't know if that was done to make the number stand out against the red background, or if it was done to make it look like it was a slightly different font. I think it's the same font, but it obviously stands out, and that was something that they decided to do. Very interesting. Okay, so now we're going to start the quote-unquote Stanley Parable 2, complete with some of these new features. And of course, we must be reassured.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427.
Okay, we're going to skip. And we're going to try to get both endings again with this new features.
All of his co-workers were gone.
I say both endings, you know, both what I would consider to be the truer endings, the better endings. So we're going to first do the ending that the narrator wants us to do. We'll go through the left door. We're going to take our bucket, which is now
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Part of the game. We turn that off because we don't need to work. So now the new content door is now closed. We've already done the new content.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you?
Oh, the broom closet wants my bucket.
This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
What would happen if I did hand over the bucket?
Given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no.
What would happen if I could hand over the bucket?
Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Yeah, it's not getting my bucket.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay, so we're going to attempt to do this one with the bucket.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
You gotta love collecting something just for the sake of collecting it.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Okay, now.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Let's do this.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as
I like
well?
how
Had the bucket been told
different
to do things
people
it
are
didn't wish
fired,
to do?
I think.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in
I
Stanley's
think
evil mind.
that one still says pirate over there. I may be messing that up. I may be getting that wrong. All right.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
All right. Me and the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Oh no, my bucket!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms, not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room, but at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Ah ha ha ha. No, I can't leave without, I can't leave with my bucket. Boo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed
Figurine Finders Committee meeting today in the meeting room. Okay, so here's my bucket again.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
All right, we're going to go do the better ending.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door.
So we're going to go on the right,
This was not the
and we're going to unplug the phone.
And Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, he didn't.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Aha.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Yay, another Stanlerine. What the? Cassettes? Oh, yeah. This is probably the creepiest ending of the game. I think. This is probably the creepiest ending. Is the cassette recorder ending. I think all of these cassettes are someone's personal journal.
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't
Hey, hello, welcome to the
make
live stream.
sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms.
This is, to me, this is the
Why
creepiest ending.
everything
This is just the
feels so-
creepiest ending right here.
What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
Oh, truly, truly creepy. Okay, so we were on our way to do the better
All of his
ending.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, we're taking my
The
bucket.
confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Why does Google do that with emotes? I'm not sure.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Okay,
and
we got
thinking this was
sidetracked
not
because
the
I wanted to get
meeting room.
the
But Stanley had felt
figurine.
the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
So I got distracted by the figurine, and that led to that
And here it
ending.
was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this no?
All right, so we're gonna go do the unplug the phone.
Stanley took the door on his
ending
left
with the
to go back
bucket.
to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Okay, so
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
all right.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk.
It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker?
Oh yeah, we get a new video with this
I wish I
ending
were
too.
better at it, but there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Yes.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing.
Wow.
To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm dunny with the funny" now.
Yes, I am dunny with the funny.
Good.
That needs to be the
This
title
saying
for
is a
my
perfect
next
example of
video.
Expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy.
Yeah.
Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
What the frick?
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
I am dunny with the funny. I'm telling you, that's going to be the title of my next stream. I'm just going to do it.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call... Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
All right, so we're going for the, like I said, the better of the two endings. So let's go all the way back. We're going to get our two doors. I'm sure there are other possible scenarios with the bucket.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
No, I'm dunny with the left door. Oh, yes.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Okay, now we go on the door on the left.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself?
Oh, wow.
Stanley, are you proud?
Here we go.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Yes. Okay, so that's the sort of better ending. There's one other one that I want to try with the bucket that I didn't try in the other stream that got messed up.
What could it mean?
So let's go get our bucket.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so we're gonna try escaping through the other catwalk.
Stanley clutched the bucket.
So we're gonna get on the
This was not the correct way to the
on
meeting
the
room.
what is it?
Stanley
The lift.
had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
I wish I could
And
hold
here it
down a
was.
sprint
Had the
key.
bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
There is no sprint
Stanley
key.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift.
Yeah, we're gonna go over there on that
Said the
catwalk.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Okay, this.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Oh, God. What is this? Oh, no.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios.
Oh,
and you'll
no,
tell me
this
whether
is
or not the thing
awesome.
I'm showing you is a bucket. Simply enough, right?
Yes.
This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Is this a
Okay.
bucket?
Item 1. Is this a
bucket.
Yes. I wonder what would happen if I said no. Let's say no.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket.
Oh.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
We're going to say yes again.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Wait. Wait, what?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Okay, alright. What else? Gimme, gimme. Again?
Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct. This is a bucket.
What? What?
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here, and I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
My bucket is everything. No.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry, but I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No!
Okay, here we go.
No! No! No.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Okay. My bucket better be there. That's all I can say. My bucket better be there.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well
Okay,
by
good.
himself
My bucket
and
is here.
constantly needed
Give me
Stanley
my
picked up the
bucket.
bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Okay, so let's try.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Let me see. There's another one where one where I go downstairs. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Trust the completionist instinct. Oh, this is different. There will be a reward for finding them all. Small floating objects have appeared across the office. We have to synergize our resources. How can you tell you've spotted one? What makes them float in the air? Okay, so I see there's one in the bathroom. Follow clues provided by employee 416. Red room? Interesting. Inside of a sequel exhibit, a large room, lots of boxes, nearby a fireplace, a private but smelly place for an important person. Oh, so I need to collect all of the... Alright, I've already been in the closet. Alright.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, I'm going downstairs now. There we go.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Okay, now. I'm curious to know
but Stanley just couldn't do it.
if he's going to have the existential crisis, the time loop. Big Lee's! Big Lee's!
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
I will collect every Figly in this game.
His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times.
Okay,
such
this
as these.
may be the
He
same
held the bucket
outcome
close, but
as
felt
before.
none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized.
I can't
This
remember the
isn't
name of this ending. It's like the
just a
space
normal,
ending
everyday
or
bucket.
something.
Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket?
Okay,
all
this is a little
terribly
different.
wrong. Surely no good
Wait.
would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations
Where's
Stanley
my
might
bucket?
experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed the rooms were repeating. Which
No.
was very odd.
They took my
Now He
bucket.
felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious.
No.
Exclaimed.
I'm
"Without my
floating
bucket,
and you
I've
took
gone
my
truly
bucket.
Mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the
My
next.
bucket.
None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
My bucket.
Come to me, Stanley.
My bucket.
Find me.
Oh, this is
He had to find the bucket. He had to
cruel.
return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
I don't have any
It was
feet.
incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Rick.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Right, this is the Mariella ending. That's the name of this
Mariella woke
ending.
up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought. and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
I have to know if the guy who does the narrator's voice, I want to know if there's any outtakes or bloopers where he was reading the script and just started laughing at some of the dialogue. I mean, just trying to keep a straight face listening to this reworked dialogue about the bucket and yeah, the backflips makes me want to laugh. I can't imagine trying to record that doing a straight, keeping a straight face.
All of his co-workers were
keeping
gone.
my composure.
What did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
All right,
The good old
bucket.
Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, so now we're gonna go. Is this scratching them all off? Yes. So we've got 2 more to find, somewhere with both red and blue. So red and blue. I'm not exactly sure where that one's at. Okay, we're gonna go upstairs. We're gonna go.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
So there is one in the bathroom.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figurines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one. And then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figurines. None of us can.
Wow. Just wow. Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the boss has suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. What the frick does that mean? Anything in here? I'm pretty sure that just goes up and down. There is no ending for that. Okay. We need to do the self-destruct ending.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned
2,
to discover
8,
not an
4,
indication of
5.
any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, we got the figular and lurine over there. So all right. So we're gonna turn the power. Oh, actually
Stanley and
no.
the
There's
bucket walked
another.
straight ahead through the large door
There's
that
another
led
ending.
to
We're
mind
the
control facility. Although this passageway had
the
word
squished
escape
ending.
written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
The violent death ending. All right, let's
The
see.
door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket
Yeah.
still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
And we.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end.
Wait.
As it was crushed violently to death.
What? No! What? No, my bucket's still with me. Okay, this is another...
It's a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Wait, I don't have my bucket. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? I want my bucket. That's all I know. Give me my bucket. You took my bucket.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Inferno bucket. What? A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket. Wait, I missed this one. What does it say? 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. My dude, there is more than 25 buckets in that picture. And I'm sure one of them might not even be a bucket. I'm just saying. I'm not positive. I'm just going to throw that out there. A bucket with two handles. Oh my God. Blasphemy. This bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Wow. Okay. Hang on. Is this where I came in? Yeah, this is where I came in. Okay. So we go up here. This is way different. All right, what does this say? The stress bucket, presented without commentary. The stress bucket, an analogy. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance goes into the bucket. Coping strategies equals holes. Rest and relaxation doing... Okay, well, that's kind of weird. Let's go look at this one. Oh my God. Okay. drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. Yeah, sure.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However, clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Oh no! No, give me... I see what they're doing. I'm going to reach for the bucket. I'm going to fall into the hole. Oh, no. I didn't fall. I could grab the bucket. What happens now?
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Okay. Okay.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on. Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, so there's one... Wait. Yeah, let's go this way.
This was not the correct way to the meeting
I
room,
think there's
but Stanley
one
had felt the
last
bucket calling
major
to him,
place
telling
we
him
can
that
go.
The employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the...
Okay, we're gonna go down here. I don't remember what this ending is.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this...
Oh
place
my god. Oh my god. What is this? No. Oh, this is so weird.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I'm Okay, so that's the baby game. That's the fake wife. My computer. What does the pencil sharpener have to do with anything? Okay. All right, there's no Stanley figurines here.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. No. No, you can't have my bucket. No. Oh, I know where this is going. He wants my bucket. I have fought too hard to keep my bucket, my guy. Where? Wow. I gotta say, I didn't get to play the Stanley Parable when it first came out, but this new content is amazing. It's so good. What is this?
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Oh no.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No, no, no.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No, no, God, no.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the
I'm
Bucket
not
Destroyer
doing it.
until you crush that damn bucket.
No.
Quickly now. The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want.
No,
Hurry.
can't have my bucket.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Wow. I wonder what would have happened if I'd put the bucket in there. Okay, I need to find the last figurine.
One of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it?
Wait.
Is this Stanley's office?
It better be the right office.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, I've done almost everything I can think of.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I don't know where the figurine is.
To go back to the meeting room.
Okay, so we've gone this way.
Detour through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I think we can go for the explosive ending. Yeah, let's try to go for the kablooey ending. I'm not going to the closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs.
I think this is the only
office.
other ending I can get. Well, let me try the elevator. Let me just try. I don't think anything is going to really happen, but let's just try it since I'm here. So we get in, let's press the down button, see what happens. It basically just moves like it's going somewhere, but I don't think nothing ever really happens. Yeah, it just takes me to the same place. Okay, so we go for the
to his manager's office.
Self-Destruct.
Again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, so the game won't let me end
Stanley and the bucket
with
walked
the
straight
bucket.
ahead through the large
So I
door
did
that
the
read, Mind control
no escape
facility.
ending. So now we're going to do the self-destruct. So I have to turn the power on
an enormous
to the
room
mind
packed with
control room.
television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Okay.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Okay. Boop.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content.
Okay,
Walking,
I'm
eating,
hoping
working,
that
all
the
of it
other
monitored and
figurine is
commanded from
around
this
here
very
somewhere.
place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Okay, let's go turn power on and see what happens.
When at last they came to the... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along?
Okay, this is different.
To take over the machine and
This is
claim
way
the power
different.
for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Oh God, what is this? What is this?
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery.
Oh.
Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
I keep expecting somebody to jump out and be like, I am Dunny with the funny. Okay.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
All right, for me to get the... wait a minute. Okay. I think for me to get the last figurine, I'm going to have to go without the bucket. Probably. All right, I want to try going without the bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire
So I need to go, I think
The lounge was grand, majestic.
it said that
Perhaps
the
like
last
eager to
one
get
was
back
in a
to
place
business,
that was both
Stanley took the
red
first
and
open
blue,
door on his
and that
left.
means I have to go to the 2 doors.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
So the 2 doors are going to be
Stanley,
that
I think
way.
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
So I'm going to
It's
try it
someone you've
without the
been
bucket and
neglecting,
see what
Stanley.
happens.
Someone you forgot. Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
There it is. There it is.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly.
Stiggly
Say what it's
Wiggly.
meant, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Now
Nice.
listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
All right. Do I walk through the red door? Yeah, why not? Let's just get this over with.
Thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution.
Okay, he's going to open this door.
Let me show you.
All right.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. This is, yeah, okay. So let's go back to the beginning. One last thing I want to do with the bucket is I want to try jumping off the platform.
Stanley,
Whoa.
I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figlets.
Whoa.
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
That is
Didn't it
freaky.
fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Whoa. The memory zone. When Stanley found the collectibles. Heck yeah. Open it up. Let's do this. Okay, so this was the museum for the launch of the Stanley Parable. That thing is missing. Okay, so it's literally made a new area just for the figurines, I guess.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Oh. What would happen if I just kept going this way and I didn't touch it? Okay, let me go back and... Oh, I didn't... Oh.
And here was the second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them.
I could
They
collect
had
more.
sense, but you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable...
Oh, snap. I missed that one. I didn't know I could still pick it up.
Okay.
And that it was going
let's
to
do a
add.
quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
It's going to be this one, I think. Under the stairs?
No. Under the stairs was the fourth place you found a Figurine, not the third. Well, I guess perhaps I shouldn't be surprised. Memories like these are so precious and so cherished that they all just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what? If under the stairs feels like the third place you found a collectible, then who am I to go making judgments? Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room,
What?
but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Is that a giant peach or an apple? I can't tell. Looks like an apple. Okay, this is weird. Super weird.
This was the fifth mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the boss's bathroom. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate
Oh,
the
no.
occasion. Enjoy.
Another video. Yes. Oh my gosh, this looks like it was made with Windows Movie Maker. Yes.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
You know, it's funny. My first ever YouTube video, which no longer exists because it was on a channel that no longer exists. My first YouTube video was actually edited with Windows Movie Maker, and I edited it on like a cheap, tiny HP mini laptop. One of those little, like a netbook. Oh my gosh, that does take me back. Although I'm fairly confident that my editing was much better than that. Okay, where to now? Are we back to the doors?
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
For the first time, both doors lead to the same place. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What is this? What the...
And then there was no more.
Flipping.
Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Wow. Wow. Kim...
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backward. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
No. No. Why? Is it because I missed that first one?
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone,
Oh.
this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Oh no, he's becoming obsessed with me collecting the figurines. This is just like getting obsessed with opening loot boxes.
The video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
Nice. Very nice. That's great. That's great.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Okay, so I can't go that way. That's weird. Okay.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Can I grab that one? Oh, wouldn't it be awesome if you could grab that one? If it counted? This is the jump circle.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Wow.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Wow. Wow.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Wow.
Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way.
Okay, so this is the last thing I'm going to try.
Calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the
I don't know if this is going to give me anything new.
Turned out to be correct. Was this no? Never mind.
This is going to be the one where we jump off of the cargo lift.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
So we're going to jump off the cargo lift and see what happens.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion.
Go to the cargo lift.
Okay.
Good, said the bucket.
So
now ride the lift all the way to
here
the
we
top.
go.
There's something.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Okay. I think I may have... Wait a minute. This is different now. Oh, this is so different.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
What?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, let's try this one again. Now that we have all of the figurines, I wonder what the meeting room is going to say.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now.
Okay, it's just going to say the same thing.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
All right.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
All right, let's stay in here for a minute.
It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it. Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled.
Whoa!
No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay, well, there was that. This is the one I really don't want to do, but I feel like in order to fully explore this, I have to try it. We're gonna destroy the bucket.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers.
So,
he never functioned well by himself.
oh,
And
my
constantly needed support and
stickers!
guidance.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Okay. So we go through the right
Stanley
one.
clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No.
We go through the right one, then we take a left, and we go down, and we find
Stanley took the door on his left.
the
So the two of them
self-help
through the
area.
maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Okay.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some
Yeah, let's
silly
do the music.
as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Okay, this
I
is...
think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore. of
I
the
think this
Stanley
is the
Parable.
last
True,
thing
it
that I'm
also was
gonna
not in the
do
original game, but it's such a
destroy the
well-fleshed-out
bucket.
character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
All right.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't
It
need me to spell it out
destroys
for you.
buckets.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular
I
personality.
can't do it.
Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the
It won't let
pantheon
me
of
do
the
it.
Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The
Yeah,
Broom
it won't let
Closet
me do
certainly
it.
Not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise
It
the
won't let me
fans
do
will be
it.
clamoring for after this. Okay,
Yeah, there
the
is
Bucket
no-
Destroyer is getting very upset
there is
now.
no
We'll
destroying
have
the
to hurry and
bucket.
feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Yeah, there's no doing it. Oh, too bad.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Okay. That is where I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I think we've pretty much covered most of the new content. There may be a few other endings that I haven't explored. If there are, then I'll look those up and see what they are, you know, try to get an idea of some of the stuff I haven't done. And maybe I'll do another stream trying to tackle those. I feel like there's some other things that I could do in the original version, taking the path without the bucket. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this. There was some really interesting and cool things in this new content. But if you want to see my playthrough of the original version, there's a link to my live stream that I did a few days ago. You can go check that out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will be streaming, let me see, House Flipper. I'm going to try that one probably tomorrow, I think. So yeah, come back by and give it a watch and let me know what you think. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. If you want to catch me in some of my Twitch streams, there's also a link in the description. I do some Twitch streaming, but I'm trying to do more streaming over here on YouTube. I really like this platform a lot. But thank you so much. BJ, thanks so much for hanging out. It's been great having you in the stream. I hope that you enjoyed it. The Stanley Parable. It was a fun game. And I've got some thoughts about, you know, the lore, but at this point, I don't know. Once we got the bucket, it was just everywhere. So yeah, thank you so much. And I will see you all in the next live stream. Have a good one now.